Good Monday morning, January the 5th of the year 2026. Welcome into Morning JOX. Damian Mitchell alongside John Saybear here with you for a new week, the first full week for us here in the year of 2026. Conrad out for a couple days. Today is actually his birthday, so when you get a chance to reach out to Conrad, make sure you tell him to keep 30 warm for me. He has now entered his early 30s. He's now, the front number has finally changed. It's been a decade. Me and Molly, the only two holding down the late 20s crowd. But Conrad enjoying a couple of days off.
Okay, first off, Molly's not late 20s.
She's mid-20s.
She's mid-20s.
I'm the only one in that demographic
And
now.
how much longer you got?
3 months.
Okay, right.
Got 3 months and some
like
days.
You, right. Out here, okay, I've got a whole 11 more months to do all that. No, man, like you right behind him.
Right behind him. But Conrad Van Orden, we appreciate everything he does for us. Hope he has a wonderful, wonderful birthday. And now we're kind of in that transitional period of time here in the calendar where college football starting to wind down. We know what the matchups are going to be. I know the transfer portal, but listen, there are over 4,000 people in transfer portal. I can't keep up with it, but we do know that Alabama and Auburn both have some names that are entering and have some reports or the crystal ball from On3 letting people know who could be coming into your program. It's a kind of in a transitional period because now SEC conference play in basketball has opened. It started this weekend, and I hate to do this, but we got to rip the Band-Aid off. But teams in our state were performing this weekend, and it's SEC conference play because this is what we've been waiting on. Everybody says, we can push basketball season to February and March, and everybody's paying attention. But right now, it's all about how you start this SEC conference play that gives you any sort of confidence of how your team is going to look moving forward. But we did have Alabama taking on the Kentucky Wildcats in Coleman Coliseum this weekend. Listen, for all the non-con games that we may have seen, we saw Kentucky absolutely get, just land blasted by Arizona early in the season. We saw Alabama go up to St. John's, get a win. We've seen some of these matchups, but now when conference play, we're starting to kind of feel everything out. And one thing about Alabama, it's proven. If you can't stop LeBaron Fallon, you don't really have much of a chance. And I think that the return of Mo Diabate to Tuscaloosa, Alabama, was a little bit interesting to see because every time he touched the ball, he was getting booed. Of course, we know he went to Kentucky, but also a name familiar here in the state of Alabama on both sides of the state, Aiden Holloway. We got the good Aiden Holloway Saturday morning. There in Coleman Coliseum. Alabama knocks off Kentucky 89-74, and it never really felt like Kentucky was really in the ball game. Alabama jumped on them early, started to get into some runs, and the one thing that Nate Oates always talks about is the defensive pressure, and you saw that on full display, being able to cause 11 turnovers for Kentucky. It just overall, Alabama, to me, this is how you want to start it. Like, this is how a quality team like Kentucky that – in moments, because of just who they are, they're blue blood when it comes to college basketball. The name helps, but they're still kind of feeling it all out because I do think now under Mark Pope, it's taken some getting used to, but this is still a good basketball team. This is still an important win. Alabama, of course, lives and dies by the three-point shot, almost shot 40% from the three-pointer. Going 15 for 38. But Aiden Holloway gives you 26 points. LeBaron Fallon gives you 17. Amari Allen gives you 11 and 9. And also Noah Williamson off the bench giving you 10. And Houston Millette with 14 as well. So a complete effort for Alabama. And one of the things, I was actually on the radio call. I had to interview Friday out of with ESPN Louisville, and they were discussing this Kentucky-Alabama matchup coming into it. And one of the biggest things that I said for the difference that Kentucky could find some openings in Alabama is really attacking them down low. But the pace in which Alabama plays offensively, you can't chase threes by just only getting twos because Alabama's going to live and die by the three-point shot. If they got it, they're going to get it. And also with the bodies that they have, I figured that Mo Diabate, to me, I thought that his presence, knowing what he knew from Alabama and kind of where to attack, I thought that he would be more aggressive just because he has the ability to play the wing and also be physical down low, but it never really got into any sync because Alabama was already jumped out into a lead, so you were chasing at that point. And I think that if you're an Alabama fan, you have to feel pretty confident of how this thing started and what you're able to do in the midst of, okay, now we got Aiden Holloway on board because we know what he can do when he's on.
Now, what worries you if you're an Alabama fan is how oftentimes Alabama comes out strong in the first half, but then kind of takes their foot off the gas in the second half. And they don't just do it in, understandably, that kind of happens in the losses too, but in the wins too, they only, I mean, yeah, granted, yes, they beat Kentucky. I'm not taking that away from them, but Kentucky outscored them in the second half. Granted, only 1 point, but if you go back and look at a lot of their wins, like even in some of their losses, like in St. John's outscored them in the second half. Illinois outscored them in the second half. Purdue outscored them in the second half. Gonzaga definitely outscored them in the second half. You'll see a lot of teams. I don't know if Alabama just runs out of gas, or maybe the threes, when they find it early, maybe it dissipates later. I'm not sure. So I know that if you're a Bama fan right now, especially all around sports Bama fan, this is something, to hold your head on. Again, I'm not taking anything away from them. They got the win. But what worries me is that they can do this in the first half. They can do this for 30 minutes or for 20 minutes. They can't do it for 40 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
They can't do it for the whole game. So if I could to me, honestly, flip it. Hey, you know what? Let's say we're fine in the first half. We're down. We'll find a way to come back and get it. Not we're going to be up so much in the first half that we don't have to worry about it in the second half. Well, that hasn't actually worked out in your favor. So as great as Aiden Holloway on them boys have been, there is some major room for improvement.
Absolutely. Talk about room for improvement. It doesn't get any easier for Alabama because Wednesday you take on the Vanderbilt Commodores, who, again, this ain't your mom. Vanderbilt athletics as a whole is completely different from what we've seen in years past, where it's, okay, yeah, basketball's pretty good, and football's like, okay, let's get into basketball.
Oh, yeah, baseball, yeah, that's what
right. Like, we've seen them be pretty good in baseball.
It's everything.
They're in everything school now.
The women upset LSU yesterday. Yeah.
So, listen, do not sleep on this Vanderbilt Commodores basketball squad either, because I think they're ranked in the top. They're in the top 15 in basketball as well. So it doesn't get any easier following that off.
They're undefeated.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay, let's go back. No, they ain't lost yet.
Not saying so. Make sure you got I would say your chin strap buckled, but make sure that you're clicking on all cylinders offensively and defensively, because it will be a great ball game. Now flipping over to the other side of the state, it was I will just go ahead and say I wasn't expecting this. I really wasn't, because to me I thought the non-con for Auburn kind of, you saw lulls, you saw some highs, you saw some lows, but you kind of felt that, okay, if you get this one, you're thinking everything should be able to work itself out. Now, you played them tough. You definitely played them tough. But the Georgia Bulldogs knock off Auburn 104-100 in overtime. And I got to give a lot of credit to Auburn, especially in the second half. They dug back into it. But kind of to your point about Alabama, it's almost like you ran out of gas in overtime because it took you so much effort and you found yourself. And again, it was back and forth. It was a great ball game. But I think the one thing for Auburn that's probably, of course you can say it in hindsight, but man, if you could have a Dylan Cardwell type, if you can have a Janai Broome, I think the presence of a true big man is going to be something that Auburn's going to have to figure out along the way, because we know what Keyshawn Hall can do. We know what Tahad Pettiford can do. And they were your anchors as far as the offensive side. And even Keyshawn Murphy giving you 12 and Elijah Freeman giving you 14, Kevin Overton. But these are they're not the post presence that you need, especially on the defensive side, because you don't realize how big of an impact Dylan Cardwell had until he's gone. But I think even Auburn fans will tell you, even last year, he may have been an offensive liability because he just wasn't well-rounded offensively, but you can't really find a stop defensively where teams they're thinking twice by going into the hole. They're thinking twice about, going to the block and banging really down there, because now when they stretch you out, they can blow past you. Because I'm not going to sit here and say that, Keyshawn Hall, a guy that transferred from Houston, you would think that defensively that he would kind of step a lot of the things up. But again, when there's so much pressure on you offensively to go out there and score, you kind of take I guess kind of the theme of it is you kind of take your foot off the gas defensively because you're putting so much effort on the offensive side. But I do think this back and forth game because Auburn, I think Stephen Pearl really and truly is starting to see, man, it is different when you are the man. And we kind of saw it when he in that tournament in Las Vegas when they were going against some of the quality competition. Of course, now Michigan's for real. Like you can't really feel too bad about that. But some of the other performances that Auburn's had, and now when your 3-point shot isn't there, where do you generate offense? Because I think Auburn shot 33s, and I'm only made I think about 7 or 8 of them. So now you did attack. You were aggressive getting to the cup, and you got to the free throw line, but there you left some change out there. I think Auburn went 24 for 36 from the free throw line. Not to say that Georgia was spectacular. They went to the free throw line 35 times and made 25, so there's a little bit of discrepancy there. But when you out-rebound them the way that you did and you still fall flat, it's kind of a gut punch because now you know specifically we just got to make shots. If you make your shots, that game is pretty much in your favor. But this Georgia basketball team, they've only lost one game going into it. And I think this conference matchup, the conference play, and we'll hear from Richard Hendricks too on Mac and Cube later on this morning. He'll be able to give you the nuts and bolts of just exactly why this conference looks the way that it does. Because I think a lot of people, especially here in the state, we expect Alabama and Auburn to be pretty good in basketball. But I think for Auburn, with Bruce Pearl deciding to retire, Stephen Pearl stepping into it, you didn't really know what this roster was going to look like when it put it all together because there's no more Janai Broome. There's no more Dylan Caldwell's, Chamie Johnson, where you felt that, okay, we can really apply the defensive pressure. Now you're banking on, oh, man, we got a lot of athletes. We got a lot of athleticism on the offensive side. But now when their shots aren't falling, where do we get that spark? Because even for Tahad Pettiford to give you 25, he can't do it all himself as well. So I think that a lot of things that you got to iron out, but really and truly, this Auburn team is going to be, it may not look as pretty as it did the past couple seasons, but there are some things that you need to iron out. But I still think this is a good basketball team, especially on paper, because when they're on, they're one of the better basketball teams because of the length that they have. But a lot of the athleticism has to transition into made baskets as well. Because, again, if you're going to shoot 33s and only make 8 of them, that's a lot of change that you left out there.
It's almost as if they're being coached by a first-year coach.
Right.
And, look, looking back at what they've done so far, okay, yeah, they lost to Michigan and Arizona. Who hasn't? I mean, I'm pretty sure they are definitely the 2 best teams right now. I know Iowa State's right there, but it's looking like those are your definite favorites to win it all and just probably dominate throughout most of the season. So, okay, you lose to them, I fully get that. And, yes, understandably, the Purdue loss is just that they were just outmatched and outclassed that entire game. But most of the rest of that schedule is like, okay, hey, they got a really good St. John's win, the tough loss to Houston, but that was a back-and-forth contest. It's not that Stephen Pearl doesn't know how to win. It's just it feels like he hasn't had to do it as a head coach.
Right.
He knows how to do it as assistant. He's been looking up at some others, but now that he's at the helm, he has to relearn what he thinks he already knows. And that's evident in a game like last night. That's a game that most likely Bruce Pearl will not have lost.
Yeah. And I kind of feel that same way, too.
I feel like a close game like that, be able to battle back and find a way to tie it up. I feel like under a Bruce Pearl coach team, they would have found a way to get the win on the road at Georgia. And it sadly doesn't get that much easier because,
no, sir.
Yes, you're coming back home. You do get A&M, but that's not going to be a tough task. And then you get Arkansas. So it's welcome to life in the SEC.
Absolutely. And that's one thing we love about conference play here in the SEC because basketball is really starting to take off. You get matchups like this because, again, now Bucky McMillan's there at Texas A&M. Texas A&M looks a lot different than they did the past couple seasons under Buzz Williams. And we know what Bucky ball is. We are very familiar with what Bucky ball tends to be. It's going to be high pace. It's going to be fast scoring. And again, if you're not going to be able to kind of you can't go 8 for 30 against Texas A&M and expect to win the ball game. And if you out rebound them, you've got to be able to capitalize on some of the mistakes and the misses that are going to happen. You got to be able to turn those into points. It's going to be interesting to see what Auburn does moving forward. We'll continue on Morning Jocks. 205-834-9450. Your text message, your calls, always welcome. As we take a look at the NFL, the postseason has now been set. What are those matchups going to look like as we wrapped up the NFL season in exciting fashion yesterday? We'll keep the conversation going on the other side. Keep it locked here on JOX.
This report is sponsored by Staples.
Looking good right now on 2059 eastbound between I-65, Malfunction Junction, and the 2059 split. No delays there. You should be able to travel it in 4 minutes. I'm Phil Carter in the Traffic Center.
Warmth and sunshine for our Monday. Highs right around 64. Overnight tonight into Tuesday morning. Lows right around 50. And by Tuesday afternoon, highs are going to be in the middle to upper 60s, 70s, likely Wednesday and Thursday. I'm ABC 3340's Riley Blackwell on JOX.
6:20 here on Morning Jocks. Damian Mitchell, John Saber here with you. Getting you set for McElroy and Kubelik in the morning coming up at 7 a.m. The first segment, we got a chance to discuss basketball. Yeah, it is basketball season. Conference play opened up in the SEC. Alabama knocks off Kentucky. Auburn falls to Georgia. But also this weekend, a lot of NFL action. A lot of games being played in Week 18 for seeding purposes in the NFL playoffs, which have been set. Just kind of a quick recap. It got started on Saturday as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers knocked off the Carolina Panthers, and the Seattle Seahawks locked up the number 1 seed and with their win over the San Francisco 49ers 13-3, in which I will say this. I was not the biggest Sam Darnold fan. I just thought that, it could be location. Because when he was in New York, when he was the Jets quarterback, I figured, nope, this guy is just not going to work. He bounces around a little bit, goes to Minnesota last season, has a great resurgence with Kevin O'Connell, and then looking in hindsight, I think if you're Kevin O'Connell, you're looking at that quarterback room of, I can't believe we let that one go away. And all Sam Darnold does is go to Seattle and locks up the number 1 overall seed, as the Seattle Seahawks are 14-3, and they get that first round bye.
Okay, so you gonna trust him?
I'm not gonna say I trust him
because he behind him Minnesota looked great last year, and they just happened to run into a team named Detroit that kind of stopped them, not once but twice.
Yeah.
And your boy Stafford, they had 3 losses last year, 2 to your boy Goff, and the other one was to Stafford. So, to his credit, they led him to 14, whatever it was last year. Like, hey, that's absolutely great and solid, and would have probably had maybe the number 1 seed had it not been for Detroit.
Yeah.
But you got in the postseason, look what happened.
Yeah. Listen, I'm not. They're not I wouldn't put any money on Seattle.
Okay.
I'm just saying, I will just acknowledge the improvement, because I was one of those that Sam Darnold just ain't the guy. Like, he just, it ain't gonna work. But he got him in this position. Congratulations to them. But yesterday also, the Atlanta Falcons knock off the New Orleans Saints, which then, because the Falcons they basically held the cards of either Tampa Bay or Carolina was going to represent the NFC South in the playoffs. Whether if they lost, Tampa Bay would have gone. If they won, Carolina's going. So now the Carolina Panthers will be in the NFL playoffs as the NFC South champions for the first time since 2015. And if you remember 2015, that was the year Cam Newton won the MVP, took him to the Super Bowl.
A little bit, yeah.
So all I'm saying, love Bryce Young. We know here in the state of Alabama just exactly what he is as a quarterback. Yeah, he may be small in stature, but he's got that dog in him. And for Carolina to find themselves in this position anyway, congratulations. But I think it may be short-lived because
okay. Well, what happened the last time a team under 500 made it to the postseason?
They won their first round game? Who was it?
They did. That was your boy Marshawn Lynch.
Oh, that was beast mode?
Beast mode all over the Saints. So, yeah. So, last time a team was under 500 and made the playoffs, they beat a Super Bowl winning future Hall of Famer at QB that was working on his second team.
Well, Rico Dowdle is no Marshawn Lynch.
Perhaps not, no, but history is on their side.
Yeah, and they get the game at home.
Correct.
They get the game at home as the Carolina Panthers in the first round of the NFL playoffs will be taking on the Los Angeles Rams. All I'm saying is right now the Los Angeles Rams are a 9.5-point favorite on the road.
No, they absolutely are, but they are of their 5 losses this year, 4 were on the road.
And one of those losses, the Carolina Panthers.
They've already traveled here and lost.
It's crazy.
So, yeah.
And that's the thing. It's the playoffs. You ain't got to be better. Listen, we can sit here and debate whether the Carolina Panthers are a better team. They just need to be better than the Los Angeles Rams on Saturday. Simple as that. They ain't got to look at what they've done in the regular season. It is a one-game season. You win, you go home. Listen, let the chips fall where they may. Bryce Young's got you there. There's no telling. He may dip back into his Alabama days where he does his Houdini act, and maybe they might mess around here and win. Now, is it likely? No, but there is a chance. But also continuing in NFL Week 18. The Cleveland Browns knock off the Cincinnati Bengals. Both teams getting ready for Cancun. But Myles Garrett is the new the single season all-time sack leader, as he finally he got that monkey off his back. He had to wait until the final game of the season to get it done, but he ends up with 23 sacks. He sacks Joe Burrow late in that ball game, and the Cincinnati Bengals had an exception to it because they stopped the game to celebrate and everything. They stopped the clock, and it was
Right, yeah.
It was like, and Jamar Chase had a great quote. He's like, "Man, it's like they stopped the game for me if I caught my 10th catch of the game." It's, hey, we still got a game to play, man. We still have to keep this thing rolling. But congratulations to Myles Garrett, who also is the same age as Conrad Van Order at 30. But when you look at him, he looks like a 46-year-old grown man, and he kind of just
Who, Conrad?
no.
I know his hairline's it's a bit. I mean, he may need that little spray.
Hey,
Oh, you meant Miles. Oh, okay.
yeah, he looks like a grown man out there. But they're getting ready for Cancun, 5-12. But who knows what may happen? Kevin Stefanski may be on his way out. Even Zach Taylor for the Cincinnati Bengals, he may be on his way out. But they're
Joe Burrow might be.
yeah.
I mean, they could be like, let's trade him, get some assets, and try and find something.
And that's the thing about Joe Burrow. When he's healthy and he's out there, looks phenomenal. But the best ability is availability. And you see what the Cincinnati Bengals look like when he's not on the football field. And even when he is out there, he's not at 100%, still not enough.
Slightly healthier Tua.
We will get to the Miami Dolphins a little bit later because I think they're going to have
Why?
some.
No, we're talking about the playoffs. There's no point in talking about them Dolphins.
It's crazy because when they drafted Quinn Ewers, I'm thinking he's just there as a forever journeyman backup, not expecting him to play as a rookie. But when they when Miami, pretty much, I think they're going to be done with Mike McDaniel here within the next couple days. They're about to blow this thing up, and it's kind of unfortunate because you pay Tua and you still bench him. That's kind of a representation of, this may be one of those things that we kind of tied our hands with this money. We got to do something with it. We got to make some changes from top down, and I think it may start at the quarterback position. So shout out to Quinn Ewers being a seventh round pick. You mess around there and find yourself in a starting spot in the NFL, you never know what may happen. The Houston Texans knock off the Indianapolis Colts to solidify their spot in the NFL playoffs. They knocked them off 38-30, and they will be taking on, which I'll save that one for later because we have to talk about the game. The Jacksonville Jaguars, congratulations, they knock off the Tennessee Titans 41-7 to solidify their seeding in the NFL playoffs. Titans, we're getting ready for Cancun as well. Minnesota Vikings knock off the Green Bay Packers 16-3. The New York Giants and the Dallas Cowboys. The Giants won 34-17, but it's kind of one of those. Oh, okay. Well, great way to end the season, but the season did not fare the way that they wanted to.
Dropping from number 2 overall pick to number 5 in the process.
So maybe you shouldn't have won the ball.
This is what we wanted. Oh, okay.
We'll see what they do. The Buffalo Bills knock off the New York Jets 35-8, and a surprising stat. For the first time since 1933, the New York Jets went the entire NFL season without an interception on defense. And when I read it, it was, wait a minute, hold up. This is almost impossible to do. To go as pass happy as football in general has become. For the first time since 1933, the New York Jets, again, Aaron Glenn is a defensive coach. He was the defensive coordinator for multiple teams, the Detroit Lions, the past couple seasons. They went the entire season without an interception.
What year was that?
1933.
Do you know who how many yards the leading passer had in 1933?
Yeah, absolutely. I know they weren't scratching 1,000.
973.
Oh, my gosh.
With 11 touchdowns. That sounds like
that's wheeling and dealing.
That sounds like a pretty good wide receiver year. Like, not great, but hey, that's pretty good. Like, I mean, almost great. Like 973 and 11 touchdowns. Like, all right, that's pretty good. Didn't get 1,000, but all right, that's solid.
That's wild because that was the entire 1933 season. That's a 3-game stretch in this day and age in the NFL. That's a solid 3-game stretch by a pretty average quarterback. It's okay. Brock Purdy, if you'd have told me in the past 3 games he threw for 978 and 11 touchdowns, you'd believe it. But an entire football season, the New York Jets did not get an interception. So, whew, some records are meant to be broken, and that was one of them. The Detroit Lions knock off the Chicago Bears 19-16. Of course, the Chicago Bears will be going to the playoffs. The Denver Broncos knock off the Los Angeles Chargers 19-3, solidified the number 1 seed in the AFC. And who would have thought? Bo Nix, the guy that, listen, he played here in the state of Alabama, played for the Auburn Tigers.
He had to leave Alabama to be great.
Had to get out of here. Went out west, went to Oregon, messed around to become a first-round draft pick. And the past 2 seasons of him being in the NFL, he's had the Denver Broncos in the playoffs. And congratulations to them. The Los Angeles Rams knock off the Arizona Cardinals 37-20. The Las Vegas Raiders knock off the Kansas City Chiefs 14-12, and potentially the last time we have seen Travis Kelce in a Chiefs uniform in the NFL. Could he be eyeing retirement? I think he's 37 years old. But I think he's off the field, he will be just fine, especially when it comes to the financials. He ain't got to play another snap to be financially stable.
He's about to be Dave Chappelle with Oprah.
Right.
Just sitting at home.
Just sit at the crib.
Enjoy your bath, baby.
Oh, you dropping the album what day? Okay, let's make sure we put the finishing touches on that. The New England Patriots knock off the Miami Dolphins 38-10. The Washington Commanders beat the Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia rest everybody, but Devontae Smith, shout out, got 1,000 yards this season. And in Sunday night, an absolutely phenomenal matchup. The Pittsburgh Steelers knock off the Baltimore Ravens 26-24. And if you hadn't watched any of that ball game, if you watched the last 2 minutes, you saw an epic comeback on both sides because it was back and forth. The Baltimore Ravens get a great touchdown throw to Zay Flowers. They're late in the ball game. Pittsburgh drives the length of the field, scores. I mean, Calvin Austin was wide open. Awuzie slips for the Baltimore Ravens. Aaron Rodgers drops it in an absolute bucket. And then the Baltimore Ravens get the ball back. Had all 3 of their timeouts. They matriculated down the field. It was 4th and 12, I believe. And Lamar Jackson does Lamar Jackson things, finds Isaiah Likely deep down the field, gets it in great field goal range. And Tyler Luke, a name that will forever live in Baltimore infamy, rookie kicker. And this is why you don't leave it on the foot of a kicker. These are the moments why you do not leave it on the foot of the kicker. With a chance to win the ball game, he pushes it right as the clock hits 0, and the Pittsburgh Steelers lock up the final playoff spot there as the winner was essentially going to the playoffs to match up with the Houston Texans. But the Baltimore Ravens season falls short 26-24. So the NFL playoff schedule looks like this. On Saturday at 3:30, you get the Carolina Panthers and the Los Angeles Rams. And then the nightcap for Saturday, the Green Bay Packers travel to the Chicago Bears. On Sunday, you get started at noon with Buffalo taking a trip to Jacksonville to take on the Jaguars. The San Francisco 49ers go to Philadelphia to take on the Eagles. And the nightcap, the Los Angeles Chargers take on the New England Patriots. And not to be done, on Monday night, so a week from tonight, the Houston Texans travel to the Pittsburgh Steelers. And again, Pittsburgh's there. And believe it or not, Aaron Rodgers found a way to get it done, and the Pittsburgh Steelers are in the playoffs. All I'm saying is that Houston defense is legit.
There's 2 things here. One, Mike Tomlin said in the postgame, like, this is why you go out and get Aaron Rodgers. For a game like last night where the first 3 quarters there were 23 points scored. In the 4th quarter alone, there were 27. It was back and forth. And this is also, I think, the first time Houston will play a playoff game that's not like noon. Usually they have like the very first one like right out the gate, like, okay. They usually get the college football playoff ESPN, the NBA playoffs, NBA TV kind of like, oh, it's the Texans, just put them on. No, like they're giving them prime billing.
Yes, sir.
Monday night.
So it should be fun. The NFL playoffs have been set. We'll continue on the conversation. Get to your text message, your calls, 205-834-9450. Keep it locked right here on Morning JOX.
There's a reason the Alabama Crimson Tide hand-selected Andrews Sports Medicine's Dr. Lyle Kane and Dr. Norman Waldrop to serve as their team physicians. They provide the highest quality of sports medicine care in an effort to keep the Crimson Tide student-athletes safe, healthy, and competing at the highest level. If Andrews Sports Medicine is the choice of the Crimson Tide Athletics, there's no doubt they should be your family's #1 choice for sports medicine and orthopedic care. Visit andrewsportsmedicine.com today to begin your journey of achieving victory over injury.
In overtime, and Alabama knocks off Kentucky 89-74. Also giving you the layout of the NFL playoffs. We also have the college football playoffs. So from Thursday to Monday, got some exciting matchups. Of course, Ole Miss taking on Miami. My team, the Ole Miss Rebels, representing the SEC.
Oh, yeah.
Here
It feels weird to have a team in the postseason, doesn't it?
It does.
Keep going.
It does. It's
Yeah.
it's. Listen, I had big.
Wait, you didn't leave with Lane?
No.
You stuck through him? Okay.
No.
Okay.
No. Once Pete Golden was named the head coach, and I saw the performance on the field against Tulane and also Georgia, yeah, we rocking.
I saw. Oh, okay, so it was question.
Yeah,
were you like
because
Trinidad in the AT&T commercials? Like, hold on, yeah, I'm transferring. Okay.
No, I mean, when coaches changes, you have a window where you could potentially hit the portal. But I was like, nah, man, I'm locking with my team. I'm staying with them through thick and thin. I'm not leaving. I'm not like these coaches that are doing due diligence on both sides. Going to LSU, going to recruit, and then trying to come back and call plays in Ole Miss, which they did a great job. I'll give them that.
Now, setting your Ole Miss fandom aside, if you're looking at this just as a college football fan and potentially one that kind of enjoys maybe the occasional dumpster fire, there have been reports that Charlie Weiss Jr. is being looked at for some NFL jobs.
Yeah.
How much, as a college football fan, would you like it if all of a sudden he were to become the signal caller of the Raiders when Cliff Kingsbury, whatever, goes, or whomever?
And really and truly, with the way that the game is in college football, I can understand if you take an NFL job, because at that point you're dealing with professionals. If player X doesn't work, we go into player Z. Like,
Honestly,
there's no ands, ifs, or buts.
It's an easier job now, the way it is.
You ain't got to worry about
stressful.
You ain't got to worry about roster management, because you got general managers, you got everybody off the field that can handle all that stuff. Give me the best 11. This is what we're running. Let's go out there and do it. But I think that, to me, you find yourself in a Cliff Kingsbury situation where, unless you've been a head coach before, I think it's going to be extremely difficult to make that jump from just a offensive or just a play caller, not the person that's running the show at a college level, and then going to the NFL where you are looked at for every single decision that happens there. Not to say that he wouldn't be able to do it, but I don't know. I don't know. Like I would actually like to see him as a college head coach first to kind of just get his wits about him
Right.
in the beginning, then taking that big of a jump going to the NFL, because if you fall flat on your face, it's, well, you shouldn't have been up here to begin with.
Maybe, right.
So, but I mean, anytime an NFL team gives you a call, you at least need to answer the phone.
I mean, if you're Todd Monken, I mean, yes, you're operating and running Georgia, but I can do that for Lamar Jackson. I mean, why not?
Right.
So I don't blame it. And
Yeah.
again, and at this point now, not that he's not, but if you're just calling plays, then yes, you're running you're running the offense, and then that's the gig now, to be making more. And I don't want to say less responsibility, but you can
Right.
focus solely on that, which is why I thought it was odd that Chip Kelly took the Northwestern gig. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if all of a sudden, I don't want to say mama, maybe stepmama. Well, I don't know. That kind of has a weird, kind of gross connotation now. But if all of a sudden he ensconced back to Ohio State,
Right.
but I could see it to where he chose that because, look, I ain't recruiting. I'm not recruiting these nerds.
I'm just
all
calling
I'm going to
plays.
do is just calling the plays. You coaching stuff. You go out, do all of that.
Mhm.
Let me call these plays. Like, that's all we need to do. So I could see that.
Yeah, and Chip Kelly kind of strikes me as that too. It's, man, I've been in this game long enough. I just want to call plays. Don't want to do all this mumbo jumbo. Hey, if a guy wants to hit the portal, go ahead. I ain't got time for it. Listen, these are the plays that we're running. This is the personnel that I need. Let's go out there and get it done. But yeah, you want to talk about strange pairings. I just never would have thought, if you'd have told me a decade ago that Chip Kelly was going to be the offensive coordinator at Northwestern, I would ask you what has happened. Did he,
Right, yeah.
did he get fired from Oregon?
Is it some
And-
kind of rehabilitation, something?
Yeah,
Like someone helping someone out?
Yeah.
Did he pull a Petrino? Like,
Right.
Did he have some kind of scandal?
How did we get to this point? But that is true. That's going on. Of course, the college football playoff Friday night, we have the rematch between Big Ten powerhouses, the Indiana Hoosiers and the Oregon Ducks, with the potential going to the national championship. Of course, we know what Indiana did in their Rose Bowl victory over Alabama. Also, Oregon handling business in the Orange Bowl against Texas Tech. We saw the matchup early on in the season. It was kind of, if Indiana was for real, we needed to see how they performed against Oregon. And really and truly, if you go back and watch that ball game, it never really felt that Oregon was, I don't want to say in it, but it truly felt that Indiana was the better football team. Now you get them with a chance to go to the national championship. How different does that game look? But also going back to Ole Miss, how much did you exhaust against Georgia? Now with Miami on the backstretch of they are feeling on top of the world. These are two teams in Ole Miss and Miami where you thought going into it, especially on the surface, that we could potentially see these teams in the national championship. But they kind of felt like the long shots. Now they're both playing with house money. Something's got to give. Now if you're Pete Golden, it's like, hey, I was deemed with the task of leading this team from this point forward. By God, we are rolling with or without you. We need all hands on deck. If you with us, you better be locked in because we got a chance to go out here and make history. And if you're Miami, it's, are we back? Are we really not just blowing smoke of, oh man, because again, we've seen them have 2 losses getting into this position. And now that they're in it, they've gone on the road and beat on Texas A&M. You knocked off pretty much everybody's favorite in Ohio State, and you really took the punch to them. And could you do it again against Ole Miss? Styles it's going to be a physical matchup on both sides. It's, okay, Ole Miss, are you going to still have the spectacular moments of Trinidad Chambliss? Are you going to find those lulls in between? In Miami, it's, are you going to finally take the training wheels off Carson Beck? And to be completely honest, Carson Beck has played so much football that I don't expect him to go out there, be nervous or shaken because he's been in these moments. But also, are they going to open it up in the event that they're not able to lean on Mark Fletcher Jr. and running the football constantly? So that's kind of the question mark I have going into that matchup. In Indiana and Oregon, it's who's going to be the more physical ball? Who's going to be the more physical ball club? Because Indiana, they showed in the Rose Bowl. Yeah, if we have to choke you out, enjoy this. And also Oregon, it's kind of rectifying the wrongs of this is the game we have got to get back. This is our get back moment because Dan Lanning is definitely going to get that team locked and loaded, ready to go.
And honestly, it may not matter because the way this Indiana team is playing, Alabama fans who are still licking their wounds. As someone that was producing a show here on the weekend, Alabama fans, we see a lot of memes in here or see a lot of social media posts. The European mind can't comprehend. Well, a good number of the Alabama mind can't comprehend that this Alabama team got Nick Saban'd. They were a good Alabama team, a good football team, just got demolished by a better football team, and that can happen. You may want most Alabama fans want to dump on Leonard Fournette in that game, and that was the one game he was kind of held short. He was a very good college running back. He was a pretty good pro, but when he ran up against Alabama, okay, didn't do all that much. That 2011 LSU team was a very, very good team. SEC champs. Struggled with Alabama the first time, but Alabama fans just remember, we dominated the second time. Okay. Does that mean you were a substantially better team than them? Because last I checked, the LSU team beat you.
Yep.
But that Alabama team in 2011 and so many other times before just completely dominated and obliterated their opponent. That doesn't mean that their opponent was a bad team. That just they just got thoroughly beat down, and that usually doesn't happen to Alabama. But that's what Indiana has been doing for the most part all year. There have been a couple of times where it has been close, and not that Indiana was off their game, but the other team just kind of withstood the punches and was like, okay, we're still here. Or was able to fight back even harder, like a team like Penn State that I know they fired their coach and they weren't playing away, but look at how Penn State was actually playing in some of those games late. Like they actually they lost their coach, but they were still playing great football, or at least very good football. I don't say great football, but they were at least they were playing spirited football.
Yeah.
And it took a Herculean effort by the Heisman Trophy winner for Penn State to go down and do that game. But remembering back at this game, Oregon had a pick six in this game.
Yep.
So to their credit, they got that and they did score, but Indiana still won by 10. Indiana's been physical all year.
Yeah.
And remember what Oregon did against Texas Tech. Yeah, you remember the shutout. Remember they were 4-8 on fourth down?
Yep.
They had how many drives in Texas Tech territory without points?
Yep.
And you expect to do that against Indiana?
Someone's got to
luck,
give.
guys. Good luck. Look, Oregon can do it. Will they? I don't know. Probably not, but it's possible. Unlikely, but it's possible.
So you're saying there's a chance?
Honestly, probably not. No. Take Indiana the points.
Yeah. But it's gonna be interesting.
Things could change over the week, though.
True. Listen, we've seen a matchup before, and you know they all add it. It's hard to beat a team twice. It's also hard to lose to a team twice.
Actually, not really. It feels like it's kind of easy. However, most of the rematches we've seen, Alabama, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, Georgia, the rematches that have happened.
Alabama, Georgia.
Yeah, with those rematches that have happened in the postseason with the other teams away. So, okay, maybe there is a chance.
I'm telling you, 205-834-9450. We'll get to your text message on the other side. Keep it locked here on Morning JOX.
In the automotive industry, time and trust matter. Miss an electrical problem and it can slow everything down. That's why Napa delivers electrical solutions the pros trust. Come break down.
Did you know that men's clinic testosterone is keeping resolutions can feel like walking through mud. Even more so as we age, these things tend to get worse if untreated. Guys, you're not alone. Your urologist-led support team at the Alabama Men's Clinic has your back. For 12 years, we've effectively treated ED and low T comprehensively and with proven treatments dialed in just for you. With same-day booking, you can meet our passionate team, and by this afternoon, you'll leave with a plan that's designed to be sustainable for life.
6:54 here on Morning Jocks, here with you for a few more moments. Damian and John getting you set for McElroy and Kublik in the morning, coming up at the top of the hour. Your text messages 205-834-9450. Always welcome here. Somebody texted in as a Ravens and a Bama fan. Glad football season is over. Yeah, it's been tough.
Glad?
It's been tough.
I mean, it's not over.
No.
We still got like a whole nother month.
I guess there's nothing but hate watches at this point
all right.
forward. You can't just enjoy the game.
But I had your rookie kicker, which was very interesting. They said in the broadcast that they interviewed all the kickers, and they were like, this is the one, this is the guy. And it's like Mike Tirico knew he was going to miss it.
That's why they need to pay attention in practice.
And it should be noted, I think it was Braswell, the Steelers kicker, he missed the extra
Sure
point.
enough.
So that would have been for the win.
Yep.
Could have been for the tie, but hey, that kickers, man.
Too much pressure. Lewis, I see what you're doing. Anything else different about Seattle's offense this year as opposed to last year?
Uh-huh.
I know what you're doing.
Okay.
We're not doing this. But yes, Ryan Grubb was the offensive coordinator.
So if the NCAA will allow pro basketball players to come back, you're telling me that Alabama will want to bring in Sam Darnold? Because look at how the offense turned around.
No, they'll rock with Ty Simpson. Or you can bring Jalen Milroe back because he is on the Seattle Seahawks.
Ty Simpson's probably going pro, man.
As he should.
Yeah.
As he should. McElroy and Kublik in the morning. Those guys.